There's been one poll after another poll after another poll this week that has shown that the Republicans are just absolutely bashing Democrats when it comes to issues.
Look at this. Republicans over Democrats on issues like inflation, the economy, immigration. These are 25, nearly 30-point margins creating jobs.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Huge, huge numbers.
So, despite the best efforts of the Biden administration, Bidenomics is not really resonating with people. You see these voters overwhelmingly favoring Republicans on issues related to the economy, and it begs a crucial question: are the Democrats, guys, failing on? Is it on messaging? Is it on policy? Or is it both of those things? The three of us are going to try and figure that out. But first, let's talk a little bit more about the poll that Joe Scarborough was just discussing. A new Marquette Law School poll it's a national survey, finds a close presidential race. Former President Donald Trump receives 51%, President Joe Biden gets 48% among registered voters, while Biden has a 51% advantage over Trump's 49% among likely voters, those who say they are certain they will vote in the presidential election. So you look at that and then look at this. I mean, we can see it broken down right here. Go line item. Inflation, 23 points to the Republicans' favor. The economy, 24 points. Immigration and border, 24 points. 19 on creating jobs. Foreign relations, 5 points. Medicare and Social Security, we start going to the other side of the seesaw. 2 points to the Democrats, 9 points to the Democrats on abortion policy, and climate change, 20 points. I will say that when I'm out in the field talking to these voters and talking to just about any voter, people are talking about gas prices constantly. The inflation number is the one that is I wouldn't say dumbed down, but reduced down. The lowest common denominator is gas prices. How much do we have to put in to fill our tank? How much do we have to spend to fill our tank? Respondents were asked who would handle these issues better, but the question about creating jobs is especially interesting because even Fox News was flabbergasted by the number of new jobs that were created under the Biden administration in September. Numbers released today. Listen here.
The September jobs report just released, it shows the U.S. adding 336,000 jobs. That is a big number. That's 166,000 more than economists were expecting.
Well, I want to start with a very hot number. Non-farm payrolls, 336,000. Wow. That is a big jump. That is bigger than the range that I was even looking at.
Wow, whoa. We don't hear that on Fox when it's a favorable number for the Democrats in the White House very often. According to data from the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. economy created roughly 6.4 million jobs during Trump's first 3 years in office. Meanwhile, in the first 32 months of Biden's term, the U.S. economy has created nearly 14 million jobs. In those numbers, Trump's last year was excluded because it's not fair really to put all of that during COVID, all those job losses on Biden, even though it seems voters still trust Trump more than they do Biden on the issues pertaining to the economy. Cenk?
Yeah, so some of this is substantive, and so Democrats, I think, should deliver better for the American people, their voters, et cetera. But for these numbers in particular, that's a minority. These you have to break them down in two different ways: policy and politics. In terms of policy, this is grossly unfair. The American people have it totally wrong. So look, I'll give you two examples here on the policy front. First of all, Medicare and Social Security, only a 2-point difference for the Democrats. Are you kidding me? The Democrats have always protected Medicare and Social Security. The Republicans propose to cut it every time they get power. Every time, you said we're worried about the deficit, blah, blah, blah. They don't like it. Rich people, they think, have to pay for it to some degree. So they're like, screw the elderly, we don't want it, we don't want it. They want to raise the retirement age. They want to cap the amount of money you're getting from Social Security and Medicare. For the Democrats to have only a 2-point advantage on that is a crime against the truth, okay? And then on the creating jobs number, it's the exact opposite of what's true. So Trump has a 49-30 lead against Biden, and a stunning 19-point lead. when Biden has created twice as many jobs. Michael just read you the actual numbers. And even Fox News and CNBC, the two most conservative stations in America, are like, holy cow, look at all these jobs. We're at literally record unemployment. I'm considering running against Biden, and I'm still telling you, are you crazy? The jobs numbers are Biden's best asset. Like, he's done really well with that. You've got to be fair, right? Nope. Losing by 19 points on that. 19 points. It's nearly unrecoverable, which leads me to the next part of it, which is politics. On the politics, you have to confess, Biden has been awful. The economy is always the #1 issue in a campaign. And this year, there's no giant foreign policy thing. Yeah, you think Ukraine's big. No, we hate China, that's big. Not really. I mean, the Iraq war was gigantic, made it all the difference in the 2004 election. So you don't have an enormous, all-consuming issue like that in foreign policy at this point. So that means the economy is even more important. And there, Biden is down by 24. Do you think Biden has enough charisma to overcome a 24-point deficit on the economy? The fact that he has no charisma, no marketing, no optics, no nothing, can't argue for himself or his own party if his life depended on it, is why he's in this hole in the first place. He's not gonna like all of a sudden turn Dark Brandon and laser eyes. He's not gonna go into a phone booth and turn from Clark Kent into Superman. He's gonna say in every speech, I love my Republican friends, but these MAGA guys are a little too much. They got a lot too much malarkey, and he's gonna be down by 36. If we think democracy's on the line, this ain't gonna get it done.
Yeah, I mean, part of this I'm kind of sympathetic to a little bit. I mean, it's like Michael said earlier, he talks to people, they talk about gas prices, inflation, that type of thing. Like, everybody talks about how like the economy's booming, it's doing great. But I mean, like, everything is so expensive. Cost of living is insane. Housing crisis, healthcare costs. I had a buddy, him and his wife this week had a baby. They had some unexpected complications. It's gonna financially cripple them for like ever, you know? And I mean, and so people look around, they see these like jobs reports or whatever, hear these numbers, and they're like, things are great. And you're like, I don't know, it don't seem great. Have you seen how much eggs cost or whatever? So I kind of get that, the basic element of it, but I don't. It is maddening that those people like think that Donald Trump or the Republicans are the answer to it. That I can understand being upset and frustrated about it. You know, it's a Democratic administration and things are the way they are. But I don't understand thinking that Trump is going to actually help or do anything. And it's like you said, the Medicare numbers and the jobs numbers is like you said, that's the exact opposite of the actual truth. I feel like those two kind of let you know that it really wouldn't even matter. They wouldn't be getting credit for it regardless of if things were better. But yeah, these people think that like Joe Biden just like opens a secret door in his wall and then turns up the gas prices knob or something. Like they don't understand how it all actually works. But at the end of the day, you know, it kind of doesn't matter. They're not going to get credit for it regardless. And I don't really know what you do about that. The Republicans have just long been, however unfairly it may be, they've long been the party of like fiscal concerns, fiscal conservatism, that type of thing. They're the money people, and people buy into that regardless of how untrue it is, you know. And the problems, a lot of them come back to, you know, corporate greed and Republican obstructionism and things like that. But, you know, they don't know. They think Republicans, they're good with money. I don't like how much things cost. Maybe we should vote for them. And it drives me crazy, but, you know, I don't really know what to do about it, because I agree also with what you said about Biden, his charisma and overcoming it. I don't see that happening either, but it's maddening.
Yeah, and they're gonna the charisma numbers are gonna really hurt Biden if it is in fact Biden and Trump. And you know, to what Trey's saying is, you know, the inflation and the economy is never a wedge issue. It's a major issue. But the Republicans are very crafty about turning it into an eggs and gas issue, which makes it in and of itself a wedge issue, an issue that people can talk about in everybody in almost a universal way around the country. You look at these numbers too, which is bad news for the Democrats, is that presumably in these very lopsided polls, there are a lot of Democrats being polled here. It's not just clearly Republicans who are saying these things. It would be far more lopsided if it was only Republicans. That's what the Democrats have to be wary of, is that many of their own are seeing these problems in Biden's messaging. One thing to keep in mind, I always remind you this, is that there's still $1 billion to be spent. There are questions about why none of it's been spent already, which has a lot of the people who think Biden may not run interested. But when $1 billion are spent and the messaging really kicks in, even though the Democrats are not great messengers in this generation, this message is going to be a little bit louder and a little bit clearer. But like Cenk said, it's a long way to come back from.
Yeah, look, we're in the keeping it real portion of our programming, which is, by the way, all of our programming. But in terms of this specific issue, can Biden make a comeback? So remember, let me just break it down for you guys as usual. 4.5-point win last time in 2020, and he only won by 44,000 votes in the Electoral College. So that means any Democrat, not just Biden, any Democrat has to win by about 5 to make sure we have even a little bit of cushion, right? And remember, they say democracy's on the line. I'm not sure they believe it. I believe it. I know Trump. Trump is never going to let go of power. Last time was a dry run. They tried a coup last time. He's never going to let go. Never. I'm super worried about Trump winning. So we've got to beat him by 5. Biden is now down by 2 in the average of polls around 1 to 2. So he's got to make up 6 to 7 there. And election day, he was at 52 back in 2020 in the favorability. He's now down to 39. He's got to make up 13 points in that race. In the economy, you see in this poll, he's down by 24. He's got to make that up. Okay, first question is why? Why are we going with a candidate who's in a 24-point hole? Or a 13-point hole or a 7-point hole, right? And do we think this is a candidate who has so much charisma that he's going to turn the marketing around and he's going to convince everyone that there are a lot of jobs and that the economy is doing great? I think that we risk being in a MAGA-like cult if we can't recognize how devastating those numbers are.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.